without competitive bidding an interest in a resource owned by the Kenya Wildlife Service?
It is not. And in fact, the Deputy President is on record in these proceedings as having said that he has advised his family not to transact with government. But we are going to demonstrate that he actually transacted with KWS.
And KWS is a public entity?
And KWS is a public entity.
If this hotel were to be leased or sold, or whatever the language, would there be a requirement for open, competitive, and transparent bidding?
Section 45, which we said we have reasonable grounds to believe that the Deputy President has breached of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act. And I'm reading volume 7 at page 23, states as follows. Protection of public property and revenue. A person is guilty of an offense if the person fraudulently or otherwise unlawfully A, acquires public property or public service or benefit, B, mortgages, charges, or disposes of any public property, C, damages public property including causing a computer or another electronic machinery to perform any function that directly or indirectly results in a loss or adversely affects any public revenue or service, or fails to pay any taxes or any fees, levies, charges payable to any public body, or effects or obtains an exemption, remission, reduction, or abatement from payment of any such taxes, levies, and fees. Section 46, about abuse of office. A person who uses his office to improperly confer a benefit on himself or anyone else is guilty of an offense.
Now, let's go to page 81 of volume 2A, sir. It's still about Treetops Hotel.
Page
81 of
yes.
volume 2A.
I'm there.
Can you read for us the last sentence of the second paragraph?
This is a letter. This is a letter from the Kenya Wildlife Service.
Yes.
To Mr. Amos Kisilo of Kisilo and Wandati Company Advocates.
It's a letter dated when?
The letter is dated
at the top left. What is the date?
5th of June, 2023.
Was His Excellency, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of Kenya on that date?
Yes.
It is addressed to who?
It is addressed to Kisilo, Wandati and Company Advocates.
In the Deputy President's own response, is that law firm indicated as one of the law firms he uses?
Yes, indeed.
Good. Now read for us the second paragraph of that letter, beginning with the word however.
However, the tenant is in rent arrears of Kenya shillings 35,481,548, and lodge has not been operational since 2019, which has resulted to deterioration of the same in breach of the lease agreement.
So we are being told this hotel, a number of things. One, it has not been in operation for 4 years, correct?
Indeed.
And as a result, it has accumulated rent arrears, correct or incorrect?
And deteriorated, which in effect means it requires renovation money.
Now let's go to page 80 where the Deputy President develops interest in the hotel.
I'm here.
Can you read the opening line of that, the first paragraph of that letter?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Senators, this is a letter from Kisilo, Wandati and Company Advocates to the Director General of the Kenya Wildlife Service. The opening sentence reads as follows. We act for a party, into brackets our client, who is interested in taking on an assignment of lease of the Treetops Hotel Lodge as defined in the lease agreement dated 31st December 1998 between yourselves and Aberdare Safari Lodges Limited, the lessee.
Please confirm this is a letter by the Deputy President's lawyers.
This is indeed is a letter by the Deputy President lawyers, but funny enough, against any all professional knowledge in terms of how you write letters, they do not disclose their client. They just say,
we act for a party.
Party.
Who is our? Does that letter disclose the identity of the client anywhere?
No, it doesn't. And it is a requirement that you must disclose the client even as you move ahead.
Is that how lawyers usually write letters in honest, genuine transactions?
Not at all.
Good. Now let's go.
And I am one of them, so I know.
Let's go to page 83 of volume 2A. What is written there?
Page 83 is a letter to Dr. Kanga, Director General Acting, Kenya Wildlife Service, from Aberdare Safari Hotels.
So,
it is about Treetops Lodge debt and lease.
Please hold 83 together with 81. In 81, we are told the hotel has not been in operation for 4 years, and that's why it's in rent arrears, right?
Yes, rent arrears of upwards of 35 million.
And that is on which date?
This is on 5th of June 2023.
And the letter at page 83 is on what date?
It's 7th of July 2023, a month later.
How many days in between, roughly?
Roughly a month, 30 days or so.
Roughly a month. And what does this letter say?
The letter says, I refer to Treetops rent arrears debt of Kenya shillings 35 million, 481,548 and 14 cents, and I am pleased to inform you that the Aberdare Safari Hotels Limited has today paid via RTGS bank transfer amount of 34,869,797 to KWS main collection standard chartered bank account, and the amount of 611 to KRA for 2% withholding tax.
So, Honorable Mutuse, what do you have to tell the Senate of the fact a company that was in arrears for 4 years, 35 million, it is in distress, it's not in operation, the Deputy President shows interest, and suddenly it is able to pay these arrears of that 5 million?
The Deputy President must be magical. Associating with the Deputy President must be very magical, because you have not operated for over 4 years, you are in debt, you have not been able to service that debt for 4 years, but you have just interacted with him for a month, and you pay your debt overnight.
Now, when you see that, sir, is it consistent with the narrative that your allegations are false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
Not at all. Indeed, our allegations are backed up by cogent evidence, as we have demonstrated.
What is the document at page 85 of volume 2A?
At page 85, this is a letter by Kenya Wildlife Service to one Ken Waiboshi, who is the managing director of Aberdare Safari Lodges, and it is acknowledgement of funds. We acknowledge, the letter reads as follows in paragraph 2, we acknowledge receipt of Kenya shillings 34,481.
As the Deputy President in his response explained the mysterious availability of these 35 million shillings when he comes to the picture?
I have not seen anywhere where he explains where this money came from.
Page 87, what is that document?
At page 87.
Oh, volume 2A, Mr. Speaker.
This is novation and assignment of lease agreement and addendum to lease dated 31st December 1998 and 27th July 2023, respectively, between Kenya Wildlife Service, Aberdare Safari Lodges Limited, and Crystal Kenya Limited, the company of interest.
Does this confirm, just like the deputy admitted, that he actually acquired Treetops Hotel?
Indeed, it confirms, and it is not. It has not been contested.
Is your allegation, therefore, Mr. Mutuse, about Treetops, false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
Come again?
The evidence you just taken the Senate through about Treetops Hotel, is it consistent with the narrative of a move of motion who makes ridiculous, false, and embarrassing claims?
Not at all. It demonstrates that our allegations are not malicious. They are backed.
Let's go to his response in volume 6. It should be page 8, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Speaker. Eight or volume 6.
Yes, there we are. Volume 6. On page.
Okay. Is page 9?
Yes.
At the top of page 9, what does the Deputy President in his response to the National Assembly tell it?
He says, in respect to Crystal Kenya Limited, this company was incorporated in 2009, way before I became Deputy President.
Let's pause there. Is that a valid response to your motion, the date when the company was incorporated?
I am interested in what the company did when Mr. Gachagua is Deputy President, and not when the company was incorporated.
Okay, read for us the next line.
I transferred the company to my sons when I became Deputy President.
Is that a valid answer given the things we've just seen about Treetops and Outspan?
It confirms that the sons indeed are acting on his behalf.
Read the next line, please.
It acquired Outspan Hotel and Treetops Hotel following financing by a local bank. I also gave the company a personal loan from funds which were returned to me by the Asset Recovery Agency. I wish to clarify that Treetops Hotel was not bought. It is leased from KWS. The lease was assigned to Crystal Kenya Limited by a private company, Aberdare Safari Hotels Limited. I have annexed the facility letter dated 24th October as well as the company resolution to borrow Kenya shilling 600 million and marked as Annex RG 14 and Annex RG 15 respectively.
Let's go to page 44. This relates to the property called Rogoro Kiamariga 1223.
This is in volume 2?
2A. Volume 2A, Mr. Speaker, page 44. Please confirm from the Deputy President's response whether he has admitted acquiring this property.
Yes, he admits acquiring the property, but goes ahead to make some justifications.
Page 44, Mr. Speaker, volume 2A. The justification he makes is to what effect?
Is that the acreage is different.
Yes.
And also that he bought it for 3.5 million and
yes.
not 5 million as alleged.
Now let's go to 44. What is that document?
This is a document transfer by person or representative to person on intestacy. Basically.
And who is given that transfer? Who is making it?
A certain Naftali Guandraru Gadhogo.
Can you read the opening line of that document?
Public Trustee of the Republic of Kenya, or PO Box 49672 Nairobi, as personal representatives of Naftali Garandau Gadhogo, deceased, hereby transferred to Hannah Gadhongo Mugo. Absolutely.
Who is the public trustee a public officer?
The public trustee is a public office. Under
what circumstances, to the best of your knowledge, does the public trustee obtain letters of administration of an estate, in this case the estate of the deceased Naftali Gwandaru Gadhogo?
In terms of the law of succession, the public trustee only steps in where there are no beneficiaries of a deceased person's estate.
The person to whom the trustee is transferring, is there a picture given there?
Yes, it is given, and I will invite honorable senators to look at it.
What observation do you want them to make about it?
Well, this is a photograph of, I do not want to say disheveled, old lady who signs by appending her thumb, signifying probably she was not even aware of the transaction.
Has she signed or affixed a thumbprint?
A thumbprint.
On the face of it, does that look like a privileged or vulnerable and marginalized Kenyan?
The very vulnerable.
Mr. Speaker, sir, kindly allow me again to bring to the attention of the Assembly that the advocate is leading the witness. He has put a question. Does that, in your own imagination, look like a vulnerable person?
Objection sustained. Counsel for National Assembly, stop leading the witness.
I'm much guided, Mr. Speaker, so we'll proceed. We're on page?
We are on page 44.
44. Did the Deputy President in his response disclose that this property initially belonged to a deceased person?
No.
Did he in his response disclose that this property was initially vested on the public trustee?
No, he didn't.
Let's go to his response at paragraph 1.4.2, which is on volume 6, Mr. Speaker. Page 4 of volume 6. Can you read paragraph 1.4.2 of the Deputy President's response?
I purchased the land in the year 2023 for Kenya shillings 3.5 million for my farm proceeds. Some of you are aware that I have dairy farm with close to 200 cows.
Now let's see who is saying things that are embarrassing, false, and ridiculous. What is the price he has said he acquired it for in that page?
3.5 million Kenya shillings.
Let's go to the agreement he has attached to show how he purchased this property. It is at page 63 of the same volume.
I am here.
Clause number 3, what is given as the purchase price?
The purchase price is Kenya shillings 5 million only, to be paid as follows.
Is that consistent? Volume 6. We are holding, Mr. Speaker, volume 6, pages 4 and 63. No, it is page 4 of 534 and page 96 of 534. The problem, Mr. Speaker, is there are two sets of pagination. So the one we refer to is the one that says of 534. So we are talking of page 4 of 534. You hold that together with page 96 of 534. My apologies, Mr. Speaker.
In other words, go to page 4 and page 96 of
534. Of volume 6.
Yes.
We'll shortly take you to the paragraphs.
Mr. Speaker, you know I'm under a lot of pressure because of the time. That's why sometimes. So, are we all there, honorable senators? Good. Can you read again for the Senate on page 4 of 534 what the Deputy President says was the purchase price for this property?
This is land parcel number Irregular, Kiamariga, 1223 in Madeira East constituency. That is on page 3. And on page 4, the Deputy President says, I purchased the land in 2023 for Kenya shillings 3.5 million for my farm proceeds.
Let's pause it there. He bought it for 3.5 million. Let's go to the document he has annexed to prove that he acquired this property for 3.5 million. It is at page 96 of 534.
Indeed, this is agreement for sale of the whole of LR number title Ruguru Kiamariga 1223, measuring approximately 2.5 acres. And under clause 3, the purchase price is Kenya shillings 5 million to be paid as follows.
Given this inconsistency, sir, is it fair for the Deputy President, when he is lying on his own document, to accuse you of presenting material that is false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
It is not fair, and also especially when one of our allegations against the Deputy President is that he consistently misleads the public.
He says that he bought it in the year, back to page 4 of 534, in the year 2023. Was that during his tenure as Deputy President?
Indeed.
He says he has a dairy farm there with 200 cows.
Indeed, he says so.
In his presser on the 7th of October 2024, what did he tell the country was the source of these 200 cows?
If I remember correctly, in the televised address by the Deputy President on that fateful night, he did say that the Kalenjin people of the Rift Valley have gifted him the cows that he keeps in his farm.
Can you now read for us Article 76(1) of the Constitution, what it says about gifts given to public officers?
Article 76, Financial Property of State Officers. 76(1). A gift or donation to a state officer or a public or official on a public or official occasion is a gift or donation to the Republic and shall be delivered to the state unless exempted under an act of Parliament.
Has the Deputy President presented any evidence that he surrendered these gifts to the state?
He says that he has kept them in his farm.
Wouldn't that be an admission by his own public statement of violating Chapter 6?
Indeed, it is an admission and should be treated as such.
Let's go to the land in Meru. Have you placed any evidence to prove this allegation?
I have placed evidence to prove that the Deputy President indeed acquired land in Meru, and to the best of my recollection, he has also admitted in his response to having bought land in Meru.
I now want you to quote volume 8 against, again, the Deputy President's response. Yes. Let's go to, first of all, volume 6, which is the Deputy President's response. What does he say about the Olive Garden Hotel? In summary, it's clause 1.1.1 all the way.
For clarity, Council, so
yes.
We leave the issue of Meru, we'll come to
We'll come to it later, don't worry. Let's deal with Olive Garden Hotel for now. Volume 6 of which is the Deputy President's response.
We made an allegation that the Deputy President has bought Olive Garden Hotel through proxies.
Volume 6, page?
Volume 6, page 2 of 534.
2?
Yes, page 2 of 534.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Senators, in my motion, I made allegations that the Deputy President has bought the Olive Garden Hotel, initially owned by his late brother. And in response, the Deputy President said as follows: the allegation that I own Olive Garden Hotel is false. The truth is that Olive Garden Hotel used to belong to my deceased brother, the late Honorable James Gachagua'S, and therefore has never been my property. This is information that most of you may be aware of, as it is in the public domain. Upon his demise, my late brother left a will in which, in his recognition that I am an honest man.
We can leave it there, and honest man is written in bold, right?
He appointed me as one of the executors of his estate.
Now, is the DEP's response about Olive Garden, which runs from page 2 to 3, consistent with the affidavit in the National Assembly's volume 8 by Peterson, Jomo Mushira?
Maybe so that we can point members. On volume 8, we have the affidavit of Mr. Peterson Jomo Mushira. And
tell us in summary, because we are so pressed for time.
Peterson Jomo Mushira says, I have personal knowledge of one of the issues raised in the special motion for the removal from office by impeachment of Mr. Gachagua'S, the Deputy President. I have personal knowledge of the facts relating to the sale of Olive Garden Hotel, which initially formed part of the estate of the late Gachagua'S. Given the matters set out in the preceding paragraph, I am competent to swear this affidavit. I decided to swear this affidavit after my attention was drawn to contradictions between the contents of part 1.1 on pages 1-2 of the response that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua filed at the National Assembly on 8th October in opposition to the special motion. Remarks made by Honorable Wakomas Mwengi National Assembly and remarks made by Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah at the National Assembly. Remarks made by members of the Assembly.
Let's go to the next paragraph in the interest of time.
I wish to clarify and state as follows. I am a shareholder and director of TM Civil Engineering Limited, the company referred to in the agreement annexed on pages 10 to 34 of the Deputy President's response to the motion. On around 31st of March 2023, the Deputy President approached and convinced me to purchase the Olive Garden Hotel, which was at the time part of the estate of the late Ndiritu Gachagua.
Let's go to D.
Indeed, he averts that in summary...
Let's go to C.
No, C. The Deputy President persuaded me to enter into an informal secret arrangement, regarding the transaction embodied in the agreement annexed on page 10 to 34 of his response to the motion. In summary, the terms of the secret agreement were that 1, the Deputy President would buy the hotel from me by refunding the purchase price of 412 million set out in the agreement annexed on page 10 to 34 of his response. 2, the Deputy President would instruct and pay a contractor to renovate the hotel after the completion of the transaction embodied in the agreement. 3, President's undisclosed interest in the hotel, I would appoint Ms. the signatory or agent for the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. And 4, to further protect the Deputy President's undisclosed interest, Mrs. Juliani Jahenda will run the hotel.
That Ms. Julian Jahenda, is it the same person mentioned in volume 8A on page 1 of 19? Volume 8A.
Yes, this is a letter from the Public Service Commission.
So does that mean we have two sources, one being Jomo Mushira? It is...
We are on volume 8A, page 1 of 19.
And there is an entry there, the third name in that table. If you look at
the names, you have the first one, the second one, and the third one is Maka Juliani Jahenda.
Is that the same?
Who is our Deputy Director in charge of coordination in the Presidency at the Office of the Deputy President, working on a local contract.
Who is the author of this document?
The author of this document is the Public Service Commission of Kenya.
Does this document, is it consistent with what Johnson Mushira said in his affidavit about Julian Jahenda?
It shows that Julian Jahenda is a staff and a close associate of the Deputy President, and she's the same person who was seconded to manage his interest at the Olive Garden Hotel.
The acquisition of this hotel through a secret arrangement from the estate of his brother, is it consistent with a honest man as written in bold font in his response?
It is indeed consistent with our allegation that His Excellency the Deputy President raided the estate of his late brother and acquired properties directly and through proxy.
Lastly, from me, so that Mr. Onyema will wrap up, let's go to the Vipingo property that also belonged to the estate of his brother.
And for senators to note, this is another 535 million, 412 million in terms of the purchase and renovations, millions of money, and there is no disclosure as to where the money was coming from.
Now let's go to Vipingo Beach Resort. The Deputy President wants to hide under the shadow of his late brother, who is given on page 18 of volume 2A as the directors of Vipingo Beach Resort Limited. Volume 2A, page 18 of 123.
Volume 2A, on page 18, we have annexed Form CR12, dated 27th September 2024, for Vipingo Beach Resort Limited. And the directors are Keith Ikino Rigathi, and Kevin Gachagua Rigathi, and the estate of deceased James Nderito Gachagua.
So let's begin with Kevin, who is a son of the Deputy President. Was he an executor of the will that the Deputy President has annexed to his response?
No, the will was to be executed by the Deputy President, Mr. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Mr. Advocate Njoroge Rogeru, and Mr. Maina. So
na wale wa Kristo, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mimi sio mgeni hapa. Mabibi na mabwana, asalamu alaykum. Na wale wa Kristo, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mimi sio mgeni hapa. Mimi ni mwenyeji wa hapa. Tumeshikana na Mama Amina na bwana yake na management ya hapa na wafanyakazi wa hapa kusimama na wagonjwa kutoka sehemu mbalimbali za taifa la Kenya. Na kitu ningependa kumwambia Mama Amina, endelea na kazi nzuri ile ambayo unafanya. Hata usipolipwa na binadamu, Mwenyezi Mungu atakulipa. Mshahara wako uko juu mbinguni kwa subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tunasema hivyo hapa Mombasa. Najua mimi nililelewa huku Mombasa, naelewa mambo mingi. Na kwa ndugu zetu wale wako kwa siasa kwa sasa, Mheshimiwa Mishimboko, the first women rep wa Mombasa, County Government of Mombasa, mujaribu kushikilia dada yetu anapoendelea kusimama na wagonjwa. Asilimia kubwa ya hapa, sababu naelewa historia hapa, ni wagonjwa kutoka pwani, sana sana Mombasa County. Na Mheshimiwa Mishi amekuwa hapa, nasikia amesimama na hii facility. Hata birthday party yake alifanyia hapa. Kwa hivyo hata waziri wa Bega hapa anakuja fanya birthday hapa. Birthday hapa. Tutawapea moral wagonjwa wetu, mwashikilie. Na sisi pia wale tuko nje, tutajaribu kadri ya uwezo wetu, tuendelee kushikana na nyinyi, tusaidiane. Kuna wagonjwa wengi mashuhuri wako hapa. Kama Conjestina Achieng ameponywa hapa. Dada yetu Eunice alikuwa hapa, ameongea vizuri sana. Kimani Mbugu alikuwa hapa kabla Mheshimiwa Ofiki, ameongea vizuri. Nasibo Kabale pia ako hapa na mwezi mmoja sasa anaendelea vizuri. Kwa hivyo haya yote ni mafanikio na kazi nzuri inafanywa na madaktari wa hapa.
Nitapendwa na nani? Nitakuwa mgeni manani?
I did not start as a journalist. I'm standing here as a mental health champion and an advocate. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Eunice Atieno Omolo. I'm an award-winning science and health journalist with over 10 years experience. Other than that, I am a loving mother to a 10-year-old boy, a devoted daughter, sister, and a friend. Today, I want to share my journey of 19 years living with a mental condition called bipolar mood disorder. My journey began at 17 years old when I was in high school. It was so challenging because
Mike Sonko na wageni wote wa heshima, mama yetu Mama Mina Abdalla, wakazi wa Miritini, Mombasa County, hamjamboni? Hamjambo? Murega. Kama ugonjwa wa bipolar, sitasema mengi kuhusu bipolar, manake ni ugonjwa kama kisukari, kama high blood pressure. Unaenda hospitali, unapewa madawa, unapona, unaenda nyumbani, si ndio? Ningependa kwanza kuwashukuru sana, na ningependa kumshukuru sana Mama Amina wakiwa na Governor Mike Sonko kwa uzuri ambao wamenifanyia mimi kama Kimani. Wamenichukua kama mtoto wao. Walinichukua wakati ambapo sikuwa najielewa. Nilikuwa napitia mambo mazito, mambo ambayo hata nikiwa hapa mbele yenu siwezi kuyaongea. Na wamenichukua wakanipatia mahali ambapo nimekaa kwa hii hospitali. Nimeweza kukaa, mawazo yangu yakarudi, nikaweza kupatiwa ushauri na daktari, nikaonekana na daktari wa kiakili, akanipima, akaniambia kwamba huu ndio ugonjwa wako na haya ndio utafanya ili kuavoid kurudi kwa ile hali. Ningependa sana kumshukuru Mama Amina. Asante sana. Na kama na Mike Sonko, Mungu siwezi kuwarudishia shukrani enough. Mimi ningependa tu kusema asanti na Mungu awabariki. Kile ambacho mmenifanyia ni Mungu tu.
Waiteni paparazi warushe kwa mitandao, siataki mapenzi, nataka jipongeza.
Of Mercy Wanjau? The affidavit of Mercy Wanjau is to be found on